Dozens of people filed into the Wong Center auditorium this weekend to listen to speakers discuss different aspects of immigration policies in the U.S. and abroad. The lecture series was organized by Mario Mignone, who founded the Center for Italian Studies to hold events just like this one.
When I found the center, the purpose was to build a cultural bridge between the university and the community.
The first conference Professor Mignone held on this topic was in Sicily, which, just like Stony Brook, is on an island that is full of immigrants. While we may not be facing the magnitude of refugee problems that Sicily is, immigration is still an issue that is very close to home.
It's a university that offers the greatest social mobility, I think, in the nation, because of the opportunity to give to a lot of migrant students. Immigrants themselves or children of immigrants.
In many ways, because of our history as a nation of immigrants, the United States is more equipped to handle migration issues.
Immigrants shape this nation out of the soul and the spirit of this nation, okay? And so it's a different world completely.
Most European countries aren't used to this flow of immigrants. Sebastian Rotea, who is an immigration reporter for ProPublica, says it's often difficult for Europeans to assimilate migrants into their country.
I think that there's just a fundamentally different view of immigration. So Europe, none of these countries are really built on immigration, so it's been much more, even the ones that have had, like France and the UK, have had these immigrant communities for a long time, but I think it's always been more of a struggle for them to really integrate those communities well, for those people to feel at home and to be welcome.
Recent terrorist attacks in both the U.S. and Europe have only made people more wary of immigrants and the potential risks of letting them in. And unlike the U.S., Europe has to deal with an incredibly rapid and unexpected flow of migrants due to the crisis in Syria.
The Syrian crisis really happened very quickly. So it's not only were there lots of immigrants coming, but it wasn't like the United States where you had lots of immigrants and they'd been coming for generations across the Mexican border. All of a sudden you had this eruption of people from one of the most dangerous places in the world, the Iraq, Syria area, streaming, into Europe, and that's affecting also Turkey and places like that.
People often take one side of an issue or the other, but something like migration isn't really something you can just pick a side on. It's a subject with many different sides and hundreds of things to take into consideration. Divisive rhetoric will only aggravate the issue.
When we talk about this issue, we have to be very measured, we have to be very specific, very careful, and avoid those ideological extremes, because it's a very complex reality, and to understand it well, you really have to dig into it and leave the ideology and the politics aside and start with, trying to establish the facts.
Migration is not something that's just going to go away someday. And perhaps one of the best ways to deal with the issues presented by migration is to have lectures like this one here at the Wong Center, where people can have an open conversation about the issues concerning them with migration and also possible solutions. For the Stony Brook News, I'm Rebecca Shari.
Korean, Japanese, Chinese, German, Italian, Indian, and the good old WASP. The WASP counts too. And the gays and the lesbians, their faces as well, and every variety.